Ah, yes, college life. A magical realm where dreams take flight and sleep goes to die. Here, our brave young scholars juggle academics, part time jobs, love lives, mental health, and the occasional identity crisis, all while pretending they read the syllabus. It's a place where I'll study later is a sacred mantra, and caffeine is legally considered a food group. And among these noble warriors of procrastination is one particularly special case. Meet Trina, a brilliant student, sometimes a fierce competitor, only in ranked games. Prepared for today's massive oral recitation? Yeah, no.
Whoa, you like final exam just punch you in the face. You look good?
Do I look good?
Fair point. Let me guess. You pulled an all-nighter again?
Yep. Spent the night grinding in Overwatch. One match turned into 12. I blink, and it was 4 a.m.
Girl, please tell me you at least touched your notes. Today's roller station like from prelim all the way to the last topic. That's basically a semester in one go.
Cool, cool, cool. So I'm totally doomed.
Congratulations! You achieved Academic Suicide Deluxe Edition.
Honestly, I just need like a 5 minute nap and divine intervention in that order.
You're not even gonna cry?
Nope. At this point, I'm hoping for brain osmosis. Let me pass out before Miss Celine makes eye contact with me.
Wow! Bold strategy. Let me know if your dreams start whispering definition of primary markets.
Only if you promise to avenge me when I get called first. If anyone asks, I'm studying with my eyes closed.
Now, in college, sleep is a mythical creature, rarely seen, mostly feared. But when you do get a chance to sleep, surprise, you're still studying. Welcome to the dreamland of desperation, where lectures haunt your naps and textbooks floats like ghosts. But fear not, dear viewer, for every or student in need, the dream world provides.
Where am I?
I heard you didn't study for today's oral recitation. So, let me help you turn this off.
Oh, what?
Stocks, bonds, trades. Let's go! The capital market where savers borrowers meet. Long-term investments help economies compete. This is the system, the market that's by the headstrong. It moves the money so businesses can grow along. Whoa! But here's the truth, this market runs the show. Whoa! The links more than people who say, whoa! The firms and states that need to grow. It's just a lot, there's much you need to know. So, welcome to the capital market, the home of the capital market, where stocks and bonds make goals possible, achievable. This is the capital market. Oh my gosh, what's traded? Stocks and bonds? Yes. Liquidity flows? Alright, relax. It's how the economy stays on track. Tell us how it works. Just listen and you'll see. And that's why companies need funds to build and grow. Governments borrow for projects that show the market's essential. It moves the money from savers to the firms. It helps businesses grow and jobs appear. Whoa, and that's the capital markets flow. Whoa, needs of funds and will help us all. Whoa, stocks means ownership, bonds are loans. Interest paid back with steady tones. Welcome to the capital market, the home of the capital market, where stocks and bonds make growth possible, achievable. This is the capital market. Markets help the economy grow, and funds keep flowing as they go. Primary market sells from new shares, secondary trades happen there, and regulator money just keep it fair. Let's go. We link the money from those who save to those who borrow to build tomorrow. The market's growing, the funds keep flowing. Long-term finance keeps businesses growing, and every generation needs capital for creation.
Wait. Okay, that was a lot. Catchy, sure, but what even was that? Are you rapping at me about funds?
I song about the fundamentals of the capital market.
Yeah, but can we hit the brakes? Maybe explain it in, like a normal human words?
Absolutely. Class, assemble!
Alright, kiddo. Here's the gist. The capital market is where people with extra money, the savers, help out those companies or government who needs extra money to grow up their stuffs.
I got extra savings just staying here. I don't need 3 yachts. I want to help build a new hospital and earn a little interest on the side.
And I need her savings to build my next-gen coffee-powered scooter company. I got the money now and she gets returns later.
That's the beauty. The capital market links the two savers and borrowers through long-term securities like stocks and bonds.
Okay, so it's like a money matchmaking service.
And don't forget us. The regulators make sure everything's fair, legal, and not totally vulgar. We keep the market safe from scammers and chaos.
Capital markets aren't just helpful. They're vital. They help industries grow and create jobs, and moves money into things that matter, not just luxury shoes and NFTs.
Plus, there's 2 big parts, the primary market and the secondary market. The primary market where new stock sold like a company's first stock offering, while in the secondary market, this is where all the reselling happens, like when people trade stock on the exchange.
So long story short, capital markets equals long-term funding magic. Savers equals surplus units. Borrowers, deficit units. Markets equals the bridge that helps everyone grow. Wait, I think I get it now. It's not just numbers and charts. It's like an engine for the economy. Bingo! Wait. We're not done yet. I definitely remember something about, what was it? OTC markets?
The over-the-counter market, the mystical realm of trading beyond the usual stock exchanges.
Over the counter, like where you get your medicine?
A common misconception, darling. Though in a way, yes, it is where the companies get the medicine they need when you're too small, quirky, or new for the big-time stage like stock exchanges.
OTC markets are decentralized markets, meaning they don't have a physical place like the New York Stock Exchange. Instead, transactions are made directly between two parties, often through a dealer network. Companies traded in OTC markets usually don't meet the strict listing requirements of big exchanges, are smaller or newer, might be foreign or under the radar. Think of it like a marketplace behind the curtain, less formal, a little riskier, but still buzzing with deals.
Can you give me a real example? Something my sleepy brain can latch onto?
A real-world scenario it is then. Let's enter the office of Maymont Tech Solutions.
Mr. Cruz, I don't get it. We're so close. Our product is amazing and we've got a solid team. But we can't just seem to attract any investors.
I know. It's like every time we reach out, they ask about our revenue or worse, our growth history. We don't have any of that.
We're a startup. We don't have years of solid numbers to show. Investors want it that we're stable, but we're still in the early stages.
Exactly. It's frustrating. Investors will take risks, but we need the money to grow.
There's no way we can use a major exchanges like the NYSE or the NASDAQ. Not with a good financial standing. It's just too much. The fees, the legal risks, the audits, we can afford it. And we don't need the requirements for listing either. But what if we didn't need to go to those big exchanges? What if we can find a different way to raise funds? A way that fit us for a small company just starting out?
What do you mean? I thought we didn't have a choice but to go the IPO route.
We didn't need an IPO. We can look into the OTC market, the over-the-counter market, at a smaller, less regulated market where companies like ours can raise money without the strict requirements of the big exchanges.
Okay, but wouldn't it be harder for the investors to get us seriously there? Isn't OTC known for being riskier?
Yes, it's risky, but that's actually where the opportunity lies. See, the OTC market doesn't have the same rules as the big exchanges. It's designed for companies like ours, small companies that don't have millions in revenue yet, but have a huge potential.
Okay, so we'll be able to raise money without all the red tape and crazy costs of the big exchanges. But what's the real problem we're solving here?
The real problem is simple. We need capital to grow, and the traditional market won't give it to us. Without capital, we're stuck. The OTC market let us raise the funds we need without the major cost. It's the only way for companies like ours to access investors without waiting years to meet the requirements of the big exchanges. But the real problem is we are at the crossroad. If we don't act fast, we'll miss this opportunity. We don't have a luxury of time, and the big exchanges is out of our reach. If we're going to make it, the OTC is our best shoot.
Alright, I get it. OTC market might be risky, but it's our way in. We'll have to get creative. It's the only option right now.
Exactly. We need to figure out how to approach it. But now, at least, we know that we have an option.
Okay. I think I get it now. OTC markets less formal, decentralized, negotiated directly. It's like dealing under the table but legally. You've got less transparency, higher risk, but flexibility too, right?
Exactly right, dear. You're catching on beautiful.
But wait, I remember something about auction markets. That was part of a recitation list too. What's that all about?
Then let me show you.
In the heart of Metro City, a company named Vertex Innovation, a promising green tech startup, is preparing to go public. They're not just selling a product, they're selling a future. But how they do it will make all the difference.
Okay team, our IPO is next week. This could be the biggest step for our company's future. We've opted for auction-based book building method. I want full transparency, strong investor confidence, and the best possible price.
Copy that, sir. We've appointed a PSS certified merchant banker. Our floor price is set. Bid from the investors will come in and the final share price will be determined by the demand. Everything's by the book, sir.
Should we worry about demand fluctuations? I mean, what if the bids don't come in strong?
That's the beauty of the auction market. We'll see the demand as it builds. It gives us data daily and we can adjust.
What do you mean the demand is lower than projected?
Only 60% of shares have received bid above the floor price. There's a confidence issue. Apparently, our investors are worried about our last quarter's revenues dip.
So we're going public at lower valuation.
Exactly. Since this is an auction system, we can just set a fixed price. It's demand driven. The final price is shaping up to 15% lower than we hope.
Whoa. So because they used the auction system, the price was controlled by investor demand?
Right again. That's one of the core traits of auction-based systems, price discovery through competitive bidding.
So the problem here is their IPO didn't go as planned because investor demand wasn't as strong?
Exactly. Let's break it down. Vertex Innovation planned to raise a certain amount through its IPO because they used the auction system which relies on investors' demand. Effect: investor confidence was low, fewer high bids, lower final share price, less capital raised than expected.
Adjusting expectations is not what we hope, but we'll get through it.
On the bright side, because it was an auction-based IPO and restores trust that transparency, we've still built credibility.
And maybe next time we show stronger numbers before we go public.
Okay, I think I get it now. Auction system let the market set the price, but if investors' interest is weak, the result can be disappointing.
A very real world lesson. Auction markets promote fairness, but they also depend heavily on perception and performance.
So, it's kinda like putting yourself up on stage and let the crowd decide what you're worth?
Exactly. The spotlight is bright, but the audience decide what's your value.
Okay. Auction systems are centralized, transparency, good matching, liquidity provision. Yeah, got it.
Girl, you oversleep. Mrs. Celine will be here in a second. You didn't even review.
No worries, I'm done studying.
Where? In your dream?
Exactly!
Okay, that's some next level crazy. I hope you took notes in your dream.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all ready. Let's begin our oral recitation. Tracy, I want you to answer first. What is auction markets and how they function in the capital market system?
Auction markets are centralized marketplaces where buyers and sellers gather to transact based on competitive bidding. These systems prioritize price time priority, ensuring transparency and fair matching between supply and demand. The most notable example is the Stock Exchange, like the New York Stock Exchange or our very own Philippine Stock Exchange, where
Of course, she nailed the answer. After all, she studied with a magical tutor in her dreams. While the world stormed, she danced through liquidity pools, stock splits, and public offerings in a dreamland of finance and fairy dust. Who says dream crumbing doesn't work?
very well explained, Tracy.
Alright, before we end, I want to hear your realizations about today's discussion and oral recitation. So I want some volunteers.
I realized that the capital market isn't just for big corporations or the rich. It's a system that allows businesses of all sizes to raise funds, innovate, and grow, which then fuels the whole economy. Whether it's through public offerings or negotiated deals, it provides access to opportunity.
The OTC market might be less structured, but the flexibility is what makes it appealing for smaller companies or unique securities. I learned that lack of transparency can be risky, but it's also a lifeline for firms that can meet exchange listing requirements. It showed me how every market has its purpose depending on the company's situation.
Capital markets are like the arteries of the economy, keeping money and resources flowing where they are needed. Without them, businesses can expand and investors can grow wealth. The structured systems and regulations are there not just for order, but to protect the people participating in the market. I always thought that companies just go public and that's it. But now that I understand the different types of public offerings and how each one suits a different purpose, like the auction market, the price isn't just fixed, it's discovered through competition. That process gives fairness and trust to both buyers and sellers.
The concept of liquidity really stood out to me. In both auction and OTC markets, the ability to easily buy or sell assets can either build confidence or create fear. It's something I hadn't paid attention to before, but now I see how critical it is for an investor decision making.
I used to associate stock exchanges with chaos and yelling brokers, but after today, I just realized it's a sophisticated system with built-in fairness. Everything from the bid-ask spread to the matching process is there to make sure no one has an unfair advantage. The structure behind option market is actually what keeps them stable.
OTC market felt risky at first, but I realized they also allow a kind of flexibility that big exchanges can't always provide. They serve as a platform for those who don't meet
rigid criteria of auction system, and in doing so, they keep the market inclusive. Still, the lack of transparency means both parties need to be extra cautious.
Auction markets makes you appreciate the value of transparency, knowing that buyers and sellers can see bids and offers in real time helps create a sense of trust and predictability. It's like a dance where everyone knows the steps. Competitive, yes, but fair and visible.
You've all grown so much. What you've shared today shows that you're not just learning definitions. You're starting to think critically like future financial managers. These realizations will help guide you as you engage with real financial markets someday. Capital markets are essential, not just in theory, but in how they support real people, real businesses, and entire economies. As students of financial management, understanding their inner workings isn't just a requirement. It's a responsibility because one day you won't be just studying the markets, you'll be shaping them.